My brother invented a ritual pasta, and now we're screwed. By Dopabeane. My baby brother Caleb, and by baby I mean he's 19 years, my junior, and I am his legal guardian, is a weird kid. It's kind of my fault. Up until now, I found his idiosyncrasies adorable rather than off-putting. I guess you could say I encouraged him. For the longest time, he's been obsessed with games. Not video games or board games, but games. Duck Duck Goose, Telephone, Freeze Tag, Red Rover, Hide and Seek. He loved these games so much that he started making his own. Unfortunately, I remember his first invitation vividly.
Tyler,
He announced.
we're going to play blindfold.
What's that?
It's a surprise. Now tie this around your head.
He extended an old bed sheet. I tied it as if it were an absurdly long bandana, which pissed him off.
No, like a blindfold. The game's called Blindfold.
I put it down over my eyes.
Now wait. I'll be right back.
He ran into the backyard. A chorus of joyous barking greeted him, which was expected because we owned 5 dogs at the time. Caleb cooed and wheedled them for several minutes. My amused condescension quickly soured into irritation. Finally, the back door slid open. Caleb giggled again, then exploded into laughter. Is the game over yet?
Almost. Hold your breath.
I took a deep breath and held it. Caleb came up to me and thrust his hands under my nose.
Take a sniff.
I breathed in deeply and immediately gagged. The wet, foul smell clung to my nose. I shoved it away, gagging, and ripped off the sheet. Caleb clutched the paper towel holding the dog shit.
Guess.
Caleb wheezed hysterically.
Guess which dog it came from.
I can't say Caleb's games got worse from there, but they didn't really get better either. His next invitation was a game called Hostage, wherein he covered your head with a pillowcase, duct-taped your hands, and forced you to play Truth or Dare. If you screwed up, he threw Hot Wheels at your head. After that came classics such as Book, wherein you had to transcribe his fast and increasingly insane dictations. If you failed or fell behind, he threw water on you. Medicine, where the player held a competition to create and consume the foulest concoctions we could imagine. And Toilet, which I'll leave up to your imagination. By the time Caleb had entered first grade, I had had enough of his games. So when he approached me with a new one, I blew him off.
Please, Tyler. It's a good game. It's way better than even Toilet.
Nothing's better than Toilet, bud. That was your pinnacle. Makes it gracefully.
Please, you haven't played a game with me in a long time.
Shocking.
Don't make fun of me.
To my utter surprise and mild shame, his lip began to quiver. Well, if all your games didn't involve poop, barf, and bodily injury, maybe I wouldn't make fun of you.
This one doesn't have any of that.
His nostrils flat.
This game isn't like the other ones. It's different, and it's scary.
Nothing's scarier than Toilet.
This is.
He drew a ragged breath. Shame needled me again. Caleb was a weird little fucker, but he was my baby brother. Being mean to your baby brother was the ultimate dick move. I heaved a sigh. All right. What's it called? To my surprise, he didn't relax.
Operator, please.
A bit back a smirk. Operator, please.
Yeah.
He stuck out his chin.
You have a problem with it?
No. Tell me the rules.
You have to wait by the phone until it rings. Then you have to pick it up and say, Operator, please connect me.
I waited. Caleb stared back, bright-eyed and gleefully anxious. And then, I prompted.
You have to see for yourself? Oh, wait.
He clapped his forehead.
I forgot the phone.
I have one right here. I indicated my mobile phone, but Caleb had already turned around and disappeared into his bedroom. He re-emerged a few minutes later, clutching a battered little rectangle. He set it on the table and waited for my reaction. What is this?
A phone! Look!
He fumbled with it and flipped it open. A Motorola Razr with a cracked screen and buttons so worn that the paint had rubbed away. Where did you get that?
Cody at school. I traded him for your band jacket.
Anger clashed with helpless amusement. What kind of kid wants a high school band jacket?
Cody did. Now come on, we have to play the game. Once we start, we can't stop. You ready?
Yeah. Caleb grabbed the phone and punched in several numbers.
If there's someone specific you want to talk to, you have to type in their birthday.
Not their phone number, huh?
Shut up, I'm trying to explain. If you want to talk to someone specific, you have to type their birthday. Then you hold the phone to your ear. It's going to ring 3 times. Then the operator will say, "Operator, how may I help?" Then you say, "Operator, please connect me."
I watched him with a pained expression.
Then it will connect you. The phone will click, then ring again. It should ring 4 times. Then someone will answer. If it rings more than 4 times, hang up immediately. If it rings less than 4 times, don't hang up, but don't talk to whoever's on the other end of the line. Wait till the call disconnects.
What if I don't want to talk to anyone specific?
Then you just put in random numbers. Hey, how do I put this on speaker?
You can't unless it's on live call. Let's see if this works. I pressed the call button and held the phone to my ear.
Tyler, no!
The phone began to ring. The familiar muffled bring, familiar and unmistakable. I fumbled with the phone and put it on speaker. Bring, bring. Then a crisp female voice.
Operator, how may I help?
Tyler blanched and covered his mouth. I looked at him helplessly. His eyes were huge and glassy. I licked my lips. Operator? Please connect me.
As you say.
A click, then a soft series of mechanical beeps followed by a clunk. Then...
Hello?
Caleb gasped. He was white as a sheet, so pale I could see the veins in his forehead.
Hello? Who's there?
I knew that voice. I knew it better than anyone's except my brothers and my parents. Caleb shook his head.
Tyler.
The voice on the phone was warm and gentle and amused.
Is that you? Tyler, it's your grandmother.
I tried to speak, but my throat only clicked. Tears stung my eyes and began to fall. Caleb shook his head madly.
I'm so glad you called, but less glad a cat's got your tongue. How are you, Tyler? Caleb's there too, isn't he? Hello, Caleb. I miss you.
I opened my mouth to speak. Caleb rushed over and clapped a hand over my mouth.
What was that? Boys?
I closed my eyes. I could practically see her, plump and smiling, with grey streaked blonde hair and twinkling blue eyes.
Boys, why aren't you talking to me? Is this a joke?
A shrill whine entered her voice.
It's a terrible joke. How could you do this to me after everything that happened?
In my mind's eye, her smile soured into a panicked grimace. Her twinkling eyes bulged glassy and bloodshot. She was on the kitchen floor, clawing helplessly at her throat, as her tongue swelled and hives burst across her skin. I was 9 years old, frozen in fear as my grandmother died of anaphylactic shock.
Do you know what that feels like?
She whimpered. A sort of growl wove in and out of her voice, turning some of her syllables to gobbling whines.
Your throat feels big and tight, like it's getting too big for your skin. and then your ears hurt, and your eyes feel so hot like coals except they're watering. So silly, coals don't make water.
Caleb pressed his mouth to my ear. Down.
You try to swallow, but there isn't enough room in your throat to swallow because it's so swollen. You try to breathe, but you can't. I even tried to stick my fingers down my throat to keep the airway open, but I made myself throw up instead. My throat kept swelling and trapped the vomit when I tried to breathe. My lungs, my good old lungs, don't stop trying until the end. The vomit went into my lungs, and it made me vomit more. I suffocated whilst drowning in my own puke, Tyler. And it's your fault.
She ended on a wild, gobbling scream, so unlike her, so inhuman, that I wailed.
Your fault, and I knew it. I was laying there wriggling and dying, and that's right in my vomit. I knew it, Tyler. I knew it was your fault, and I hated you.
The line went dead. A second later, the telltale boop signaled the end of the call. The phone slipped from my hand and fell to the floor.
That wasn't her,
Caleb whispered.
That wasn't Grandma, Tyler. It wasn't. It was something else that got there first.
Like what? He recoiled as if burned. That's a shitty joke! I didn't quite realize what I was saying, and I certainly didn't believe it, but in that moment, it was the only thing I could think, the only thing I could say without losing my mind. How dare you? How could you? How did you even find out? A sob escaped my throat. Caleb stared at me, white-faced and hollow-eyed. The sight of him enraged me. It was all I could do to not hit him. Instead, I snatched the phone. No! Caleb screamed. Tyler, you won't remember the rules! I shoved him away and dialed a string of random numbers. Hope and hysterical certainty filled my chest. This was a hoax. Caleb had devised one hell of a practical joke, and I was about to prove it. The phone rang. 3 times, and then...
Operator, how may I help you?
Operator, please connect me.
As you say.
A click, a series of mechanical beeps, a clunk, and then more ringing. 4 times.
Oh, thank God!
A female voice, frantic and shrill.
Please help me. I'm stuck in I think, an old museum, but it isn't right. There are things I don't...
An explosion issued from the speaker, so loud my ears suddenly felt muffled.
Oh, Jesus, help!
She screamed, thumping followed by another explosion.
He's coming. Please help me, please.
She broke into a deafening scream and then suddenly cut off. Shuffling filled the line, followed by a rhythmic wet sound. Then footsteps. Then a thump as if someone picked up the phone.
Better hang up.
The voice was shrill and giggly, almost cartoonish.
Better hang up right now before I find you.
I ended the call, then hurled the phone against the wall. I picked it up and threw it again and again, until a series of deep dents riddled the paint. Then I stomped on it, crushing it into a dozen pieces, then swept it up and threw it into the fireplace, doused them with turpentine and set them on fire. The smell was aceric and suffocating. I ushered Caleb into the front yard where we waited for 2 hours. Then, when I went back into the house, I beelined for the fireplace. Sitting on the grate, shiny, clean, and untouched, was the razor. As I watched, the screen lit up and began to ring. I left it there. With Caleb's help, I packed some clothes and loaded up the dogs. The phone didn't stop ringing the entire time. Caleb wept, but didn't say a word. It wasn't too hard to find a dog-friendly Airbnb. We settled in for the night. I slept poorly, but I slept. Until about 4 a.m. when I woke to the shrill scream of a phone. I shut up, panicking as the dogs began to howl. I fumbled for the lamp. Golden light filled the room. There, on the floor in front of the door, was the phone. I stomped it to pieces again, swept it up, and tipped it into the garbage bag. That was about 5 hours ago. I know it isn't over. The question is, what the hell do I do when it comes back?